Well, Peter has decided to become a fisherman again. As a reminder of where we have been after the crucifixion of Jesus, he has appeared to the disciples several times, but they were generally in locked rooms, fearing for their safety. And though Jesus has appeared, there doesn't seem to be any indication of new direction or leadership. Led by Peter, the disciples seem to have determined that they would return to fishing, something they know, something they can control and they feel good at. But after hours, they've caught nothing. Then Jesus appears on the shore. But of course, they don't recognize him. Cast to the other side, he offers. And for reasons we don't understand, they do. Suddenly, they have more fish than they can haul into the boat. Don't ask me the physics of it. It's a miracle. Now, the disciples recognize Jesus. But are they prepared for Jesus' new call? I mean, what happens after the miracle? What happens when Jesus finally offers the direction they've been looking for? After breakfast, Jesus turns to Peter. Do you love me more than these? Peter is being called to a new ministry. Not just disciple, but leader. But Peter has just hauled in this miraculous catch. A net so full there were 153 big fish in it. An overwhelming sign of success. They probably were not rainbow trout, but Galilean tilapia is not available in the United States. But does Jesus commend his fishing skills? No. He says, do you love me more than these? Jesus is being asked to let go of the very success he just received. There is an undeniable feeling of surrender when we choose to follow God's call. I remember it well. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't gradual. It was one moment here and the next moment there. Not my will, but God's will. Now, I'll call Dodie out for a minute because in Bible study when I said that, she's like, wow, that must be so hard for ordained ministry to have to go through that. And I looked at her and I said, I have news for you, dear. We are all given gifts to serve God in our vocation. And that's not just ordained ministry. And sometimes it means giving up the comfort of what we know well. Peter is the disciple that has always represented the everyman in his highs and his lows. And now, his surrender is a model for all of us. I know we dislike change. We avoid discomfort. We cling to what is familiar and measurable. Peter is offered leadership, but it's no longer measured by fish counts. It's measured in love and care. We want clarity, success, and security. Jesus offers relationship that sometimes comes with risks. Peter must release the identity and value he finds in fishing. His security, his pride, his sense of productivity, and step into a calling rooted in relationship. He's got to let go of his big fish. But don't we all have fish? What holds us back from our calls? Tradition, familiarity. That's the way we've always done it before. Habits. But when these feelings hit, I invite you to remember the resurrection. Because God reminds us that God is not limited by the rules and boundaries of this world. God overcame death. Can we really be open to pondering Jesus' question? Do you love me more than these? Sometimes it feels so scary or awkward that when we're faced with change, that we just kind of step back, away. We don't want to. We shake our head. But what if we understood it as a surrender to love? Look at how Jesus models this in the very story. The resurrected Christ makes a fire and cooks breakfast for his tired and hungry disciples. Jesus invites his disciples, all of his disciples, to embrace the simple power of love. Not just any love, the unconditional love of God. We do that. I wish I could share all the stories that I witness of your love in our community. We know some of them, stories from Neighbors Table. We see the outcome of students going through EFM, our EYC group, our ministries to care for creation. There are also little moments that I witness every day that are love in action. Sometimes a small conversation, a moment that people don't realize how powerful their impact is. And there's a lot you don't see. Long pastoral conversations. But I want you to know that we are living into the new reality that welcome and love all isn't radical, friends. It's always simply been Christian. So what would happen if we let go of our big fish? Jesus redirects Peter from the miracle back to the mission. Feed my sheep. Do you hear it? Peter is being offered the role of shepherd, the traditional model for a leader of the Israelites. Feed my sheep. Jesus calls Peter and the disciples away from fishing, away from comfort and competence and control, to their new ministry of love and care for their flock. If Jesus asked us today, do you love me more than these? I wonder how our love might respond. Love might look like a church service that feels more like a family gathering, messy, honest, and full of grace. Love would empathize with those who liked it the old way and be mindful that new people mean new ideas and new experiments. Love might worry less about who's in the pews and who's missing. Love might accept new pronouns and stop worrying about old grammar rules or getting it wrong. Love might sit down and share stories at neighbors' table. Love might slow down to check on a neighbor who's been struggling. Love doesn't always come with answers or clear outcomes, but it shows up in small, faithful ways that reveal God's presence among us always. So, friends, Jesus is calling. Do you love me more than these? Where will our answer take us next?